So here is set up a random GUI via guide, and uh, and then introduce the elements that are there on the exercise sheet. So we can take a look at the different elements. So first we need a access for the plot, and then we have a style panel that's called style panel, which is a button group including some radio buttons. So let's place it here. Then that has 3 radio buttons which we can copy paste, and maybe we don't need the panel to be this big, so we can reduce the size of it. Then we have a slider which we can get here. Let's place that here, reorient that. Then we have a static text box which shows the uh, what the slider value is. Let's place that below slider, and you can change the font size and the name, all these later. We are not going to see that see all of them individually, but I'm going to show you some of them. So below that we have a pop-up menu which we can get from here. Right now it has just one option, but we can change that. And finally at the bottom we have a push button, so we can introduce that from here. And for example, we can double click on this and we go to the uh, string and write what we want to show on the button. So now it shows erase, and we can also change the font size if you wish. So we can make it, so you get an idea of how these things are done. For example, for pop-up menu, we want to see all the different color options. So we go here, and let's say the first one is black, the second one is blue, third one is red, fourth one is green, and we see like those options came up. And similarly you can change all the names and the font sizes that I'm not going into individually. The other thing that I want you to see, that they all of them are tagged. So for example, the one that is selected right now, the panel, it's called access 1. Similarly, this one is push button 1, this one is this one is pop-up menu 1, etc. So because we want to compare the auto-generated script from here with the solution that's provided to you, let's name them same as what's there in the exercise solution. So by that, this button group is known as style panel. So instead of UI panel, I'm going to write style panel. Then we have the slider, that's called slider, so no change there. Size text, this one is called text, but in the solution it's called size text. So text 1 changes to size text. Then The pop-up menu is known as color menu. So pop-up menu 1, so that becomes color menu. And push button 1 is called erase button. Let's see if we covered all of them. So we have the and finally the access. Its access 1 is called um, drawing. So hopefully I have covered all of them. Now let's save this as a random GUI to take a look at the auto-generated script that we have here. So we have the draw GUI, which is the solution already open, but this is the solution that we have for all the elements that we introduced right now. So let's go back to the GUI, and here is what we have for our access um, for our GUI. And you can see, like, in the color menu we have the different options. Size text, the static text does not show anything, but it should show line size, and to make it look more like what we have in the solution. But now if we go into different elements, we see that initially in the auto-generated script we have the beginning portion, uh, the initialization code, and then we have the opening function, which is same for all different GUIs that you open. You have probably noticed that already. And then we start seeing the specific callbacks dependent on different components that we introduced. So first is the slider one here. Oh, by the way, it's called slider 1, and in the solution it's called slider. So we'll have to keep that in mind. And then we have the color menu, which is the drop down list or pop-up menu as they call it in MATLAB. And then we have erase button, but we see that we are missing at least a couple of elements. So we don't see anything coming from the panel where we are finally going to see the plot or the graphic, and also we don't see anything coming from the button group. So we have to introduce callbacks for these elements. So for introducing other callbacks that we need, I suggest that you take a look at this web page. It's from MATLAB help web page on having different the definition of different callbacks, and here it's useful because it's kind of easy to figure out which callbacks we need for our purpose. So for example, for the button group, we want MATLAB to understand when user clicks on one of the radio buttons there, and depending on that click we want the selection to change. So this button down function there, MATLAB, it's a way for MATLAB to know that the end user pressed a mouse button. So we would require this one, and also there is this other selection change function where it's already pre-programmed how choosing one of the radio buttons would disable the other radio buttons or the other option that's already selected. So we would require these two, and the way to introduce them is this. So you first choose the panel. Oops. Here and then you right click on it. Oops. Choose the view callbacks. You introduce button down function, and you see that's introduced here in the script right away. So we also need the selection change function for this. we do it the same way, and that's introduced as well. Similarly, for the panel, you see by now we have introduced different portions in the auto-generated script corresponding to all the components except the this container that we have here. So we need to connect this to the other ones, and for this we again need the button down function, because we want the program to understand that the user has clicked, and also we want the create function, because we want MATLAB to execute and create the object before it's displayed. So we go back to MATLAB and introduce them the way we have done it before. So right click, view callbacks. So create function, that's introduced, and also, oops, okay, button down function, and let's bring this up. Alright, so now let's it's already saved, and we have the panel which still looks like this. And now let's go back to the solution that we have, and let's see how the callbacks that are already introduced here are modified to serve our purpose.